Hello, you fucks. Good morning. Welcome to John Solo's Beard Brigade. I'm John Solo. You are not. And today's morning coffee. Today I got that Black Rifle cup again because, well, to be honest, I haven't used another cup. I was supposed to go to the P.O. box yesterday and get a cup I believe that Melissa Gramling sent me, but I didn't because I forgot, so there it is. Hi, Melissa. How are you? I'm sorry. Good morning, Jivka. Good morning, Lissa. Good morning, Don. Everybody. Welcome to John didn't want to wake up this morning. Dude, I went to bed last night at 6. It was ridiculous. I got up for like an hour, then I went back to bed again. It's just ridiculous. I got a lot of sleep though. I feel great, which is all good. I have not done a single thing I'm supposed to do this morning other than prep this show. So I haven't done my meditation. I haven't done my yoga. I haven't texted my sponsees. I don't really do meetings on Sundays anymore. Haven't done any stretches, nothing. I haven't taken my vitamins, nothing, not a single damn thing. So I got a lot to do before our story time segment today. Yeah, well, that's about where we're at. This week, I'm doing a few things, not different this week. I'm just talking about some different things. One of the things that came up during our sessions this week that I want to talk about is focus. This has really become, it's come to the forefront and how I handle it. And it's something I want to talk to other narrators about over the coming weeks in our Talk to the Beard segments too, how they handle it, because it's a big deal. To explain this, good morning, Justine. To explain this and how it works, let me explain kind of what we do as narrators. It's not rocket science, and it's not as difficult as I'm about to make it sound. Okay, there's far harder things to do in life. I mean, you got even, all the way down from brain surgery and rocket science, literally, even to like being a teacher, or there are things that are far harder to do than what I do. Trust me. But I want to explain kind of what goes through this narrator's head when he's working on a scene. So, and mind you as well that I've probably got ADD, so focus has always been a problem for me anyways. But here it goes. First off, you have the technical aspects of it, okay? You got to sit down in front of a microphone like this, hopefully nicer than this, but still. You sit down in front of a microphone. You got to make sure that it's the proper distance from your face. You have software that you need to record in. I use software called Reaper. You need to make sure that you have the technical aspects of that down, so you don't have to think so much about hitting record, hitting stop, going back to the correct place. You got to have all these little technical details down. You have to have your breath down and breath control. Have you ever listened to a narrator that breathes really loud, that sort of thing? There's actual breathing techniques to stop that. There are these technical details that you need to get down before you ever sit down to record a book, okay? So those things are kind of going through your mind in the background. Hopefully, you have all that technique down enough that you don't have to think about it, because if you have to think about it while you're recording a scene, you've already lost. The second aspect of it is the theme of the book, the overarching theme. There are some books that are humorous from pretty much beginning to end. You want to have a humorous tone about it the entire time. So anything you read, the inflections of it, you want to have a tinge of humor to it. There are other books, let's say a nonfiction book per se, where you want to have an instructional tone. There's kind of an overall arching tone of a book. You want to have that in your head when you're sitting down to create a scene and read it. The next thing is going to be the characters themselves and the character arcs. I'm going to outline a scene that has two main characters. There's one MC and the other MC, and perhaps a third character that comes in. You want to know where that character is in the beginning of the book and the end of the book. You want to know where they are in that arc throughout. Are they starting out naive? Then they get a little bitter. Then finally they get happy. Is that their character arc? What are they learning throughout the story? About the other character, the other MC, what are they learning? Are they perhaps starting out very jaded, and then they learn something about themselves, and now they find their happiness at the end? Are they doing that? What about the side character that comes in? Do they have any sort of character arc at all? Some do, some don't. If they don't, as an actor, you better make that up in your head. Now, I say all this to let you know that this is actually what's going through my mind in most scenes. What are the character arcs? Where is each character in that arc inside the story? What's the overall arc of the entire story itself? And then how do those things bounce off of each other in the scene? What's supposed to happen in the scene? Is a character supposed to learn something? Is a character going to get hurt? What's the reason that scene is actually in this story itself? And then you actually get into the reading itself of the scene. You got all that in your head. You've got the technical details, so you're trying to keep in mind, how do I hit record? How far am I away from the microphone? Did I just distort the recording if I hit that too hard? You've got all the words in front of you on the page now. You got to say the words correctly, in the correct order. You got to make sure you're not going too fast, too slow, all that good stuff. You've got to make sure that you have the overarching theme of the story in your head, the overall arc of the actual scene in your head, and now how the characters feel about each other and where they are in their own storylines in their head. You have to become those characters. You have to keep all of that in mind, and you need to not lose focus. Focus is the key here. When you're in the middle of a scene and you're acting this out and you're reading all these words in the correct order, you might have to learn how to pronounce a word here or there. You're trying to do a strange accent or whatever. You're trying to remember, as you are playing one character and acting out one character, how they are reacting to what another character just said. And you need to react naturally. You need to react as they would react in that scene, as if this is happening present moment right here. You better not be thinking about what you need to get for groceries later on tonight. You better not be distracted by, let's say, a peak in the recording. You better not be distracted by, I don't know how to say that word, because all of that comes through. Let me ask you this. When you're listening to an audiobook, sometimes do you just lose attention? Sometimes when you're just listening to it, do you kind of lose focus for a second? Now, this is not necessarily the narrator's fault. This is not. This is not necessarily the author's fault. People have things going on. But what I found in not only my acting career, but also as a casual listener of audiobooks, that oftentimes, if the actor does their job, if they are truly focused on the scene when they're recording it, it sounds real. It sounds like it's really happening. And as a listener, I tend to lean in a little bit. I tend to pay more attention. I tend to not lose focus because the actor is doing their damn job. Now, all of that ends up being hyperfocus. As an actor, if you're doing your job correctly, you end up locking in. Nothing can distract you. You are in that scene. You are in that moment. You are those characters. And when you're doing your job correctly, for me, at the end of a scene, it's kind of the cheesy cut, and then the actors go, whew. It's kind of that. And it ends up happening, especially in a well-written scene. At the end of it, I take a deep breath, and now I'm back in the present again. Now I'm in this moment now. It's very akin to meditation in a lot of ways. This has come up over the course of the last week so many times to me, as I'm discussing it with the crowd in Discord as I'm working. We're working on a Tal Bauer book, and fuck Tal Bauer, he's so good. And so oftentimes, I find myself doing this correctly, perfectly. I'm in the moment. I'm in the scene. I don't know if I did the best, but maybe another actor would have done a better job. But at the end of the scene, if I find myself going, decompressing and coming back into reality, I know I've done my job. I know I've focused on everything. I know I've juggled all those knives correctly. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. That's also oftentimes why, if you think about it, a narrator normally only records for 3 to 6 hours a day. I found that that's somewhere in there, the average. And you would think, well, you lazy ass, why don't you work 8 hours a day? Or, a lot of people are really trying to get ahead. They work 10 hours a day. And I'm not saying we don't. We just can't record for that amount of time. And it's because of that hyper focus that's involved. Think about it. When you're at work, do you have to hyper focus like that for 8 hours, 10 hours a day? I'm betting you don't. Most people don't. Most people, if they're at work, they might have to hyper focus for a short amount of time, but then they can kind of relax for a little bit. They're still working, but they're not having to completely lock everything in their attention to one thing, excluding all other factors for long periods of time. Now, I'm not saying that it's any harder than any other job in the world, but I am explaining that's what it takes. And I think when you're listening to an audiobook this week, if you pay attention, there's a difference between an actor saying a line and an actor feeling a line. Pay attention to that. See if you notice it. See if you notice if some actors do it better than others, I think. See if you notice it's subtle. The human brain picks up on so much that we're not acutely aware of. It's very subtle, but it's focus. It's the difference between bad and good, I think, truly, at the end of the day. Anyways, that's my thoughts on focus. I've been thinking about this a lot this week. Next thing I want to talk about, and this has also come up. Yes, this has come up. Humor. I 99% of what I say is a joke all the time. That's my language of the heart. Everybody talks about their language of the heart. I've heard this 100 times. Mine is sarcasm and joking. The way I express love is through humor. If I make fun of you, it means that I like you. I enjoy you. If I don't like you or enjoy you, I won't even bother. It's just not going to come across. I will not joke with you because I don't trust you. It's just that simple. Several times this week, this happens to me a lot. I'm live because, dude, a lot of my life is on camera these days. A lot of my life is recorded, which is cool. I like it that way. But I find myself, I don't have a filter. I don't think about what I say before I say it. I just don't. There's no time for it. Think about it. If you were on camera for 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, every day, you just can't. You can't think about it. So I trust that I'm a decent person at heart, and I trust that other people are going to get my humor. That being said, a couple times this week during live streams and during recordings, I afterwards I'm laying there. I do this 10th step thing for my program every night. Did I go too far in what I said? I trust in this group. This is a private Facebook group, and I trust if you're watching this on YouTube as well, you'll understand that I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I am trying to be humorous. It's what I do. I'm an entertainer. So if I say something that pisses you off or offends you, one, you don't have to be here. You don't. You go away. You just don't. Two, if you want to have a discussion about it, please, by all means, message me. Those are messages I'll respond to, and I'll explain. But I can almost guarantee you, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. It's not my intention. So please give me the benefit of the doubt. Next, I'm going to pull full screen for a second because we did something different in the group this week. We did a Mad Lib, and it was a blast. If you missed it, here's a little snippet right here. So, hey, everybody. How are you? John Solo's Beer Brigade. She's trying to explain to me what the fuck Yorkshire pudding is, and I still don't understand what the actual pudding part of it is. I get now that it's an unsweetened pancake with piss on it, but I don't quite understand what... The
pancake rises into a bowl shape.
Okay, but what do you put in it? Because it's a bowl. So you're putting something in it. Is it ground beef?
Well,
is it sausages?
They're like little bowls that you can have as like an extra to your Sunday dinner, or you can make toad in the hole, which is where you bake a big pudding and you put sausages in it, and then you pour.
That was Victoria Sue. That was a ton of fun. I have to give a shout out to Tracy Johns and everybody who helped her for putting this all together, because this was not easy. What I did was I said to Tracy Johns about a week ago, I said, hey, we're going to do this Mad Lib thing and you're in charge of it. That's how it went down. I didn't tell her how, I didn't tell her what, I just going to do a Mad Lib saying you're in charge of it. And she put all that together. Thanks to everybody for participating. It was so much fun. And it made the duet reading more interesting, I think. So we're going to do more of these. They're not going to come right away. They do take a little bit of effort and a little bit of work, and we got to get the author on board and everything else. But we're going to do more of these, I think. I think that this is a blast. And not only does it do good for the author and myself, it also is just a riot. I think everybody enjoyed it. So, yeah, that went down this week, and it was a lot of fun. So speaking of duet reads, this one is not going to be a Mad Lib just because we haven't had time to put it together. But we're going to do one more traditional duet read coming up with Andrew Gray this Tuesday, The Doctor's Heart. And Andrew Gray is going to come in. And Andrew Gray, in and of himself, is fucking hilarious. So not that this is not going to be fun, but I want to warn you in advance. It isn't going to be a Mad Lib. It's going to be a normal traditional. Andrew Gray does the children's voices and we all laugh at that kind of thing. We're going to do one more of these traditionally. Then in the future, I think we're going to institute a policy. If anybody that wants to do a duet read, I'm good with it. I'm great, but it's going to be a Mad Lib style thing because I really enjoyed that. So we got that coming up on Tuesday. We also have later on today, we have the 12 Days of Gay by Anna Bird. Great title, by the way, Anna. By the way, Trace, yeah, I agree. Andrew is a walking Mad Lib. And it's not like we don't just do our own Mad Libs in the middle of those anyways. But at noon here in the group, we're going to be streaming the first couple chapters of this book, 12 Days of Gay. This is the, I believe, the last one in the Love Wins series from Anna Bird, my best friend. And we're going to kill two birds with one stone. We're going to do a story time of it. And that's not Michael Dean on the cover. It could be Michael Dean on the cover. I don't know. But we're gonna do a story time segment, and we're gonna do kind of a live recording session, kind of all wrapped up in one today. This is a special event. I haven't done these in a while, but because it's my best friend, we're gonna make it work. We're actually not going to be recording this book. I'm not sure how we're going to work this book in, 'cause it's not on my schedule. I think what we're going to do is work this on the weekends over the next couple of weeks to get it done. But anyways, we're going to start today. It's going to be at noon. All are welcome to attend. And then, of course, we will record them and we'll put them up on YouTube. So if anybody misses it, you can also watch it there. Then finally, coming up this week, we have on Talk to the Beard, Cora Knight coming in. This was a hard guest for Trace to get. From my understanding, it took several months to book Cora Knight. And Cora Knight wrote a bunch of... was it Xerxes? Was that the one that Cora Knight did? I forget. It was one of the books that our buddy Zach recorded early on. And from my understanding, it was a Bullet Breaker. Was that right, Alyssa? I forget. It was something to that effect. But we got Cora Knight coming in. She's kind of a big deal, and we're very much looking forward to having her on tomorrow and talk to the beard. Finally, up to what we're working on. What everybody's been waiting for. First off, we finished, and this has been a couple weeks ago, but it's still in the just finished category because I've been working hard on kind of a longer book this week. We have a True Order from the Prosper Woods Chronicles. This is book 4 of Prosper Woods by Little Patty Logan. Purple Aliens with Endowments. Okay, now I know who Cora Knight is. This one, True Order, was one of the most fun new series to come across my microphone in years. There were vampires, werewolves, unicorns, witches, and lots of sex. And absolutely no Sith Lords with colostomy bags. None. Not a single one. Just wanted to make sure you all knew. This week, we have been working on Never Stay Gone, Big Bend, Texas Rangers, Book 1 by Tal Bauer. And this, there's no other way to put it, this one's costing me a piece of my soul. As with any good Tal Bauer book, and are there any bad ones, he absolutely insists on dragging his main characters over beds of hot coals with glass shards multiple times. There's no free HEA in his books, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And this one, I don't know how to say, I always feel inadequate working on a Tal Bauer book every single time. The task of performing these stories, it always costs me a lot. I think I'm better on the other side of it. It's kind of like playing horse with Michael Jordan, you know? You ain't good enough, but you'll be better when you're done, and you'll also know how to spell horse. Next, coming up after this, we have Dragon Scholar, Dragon Horde Book 1 by Julia Talbot, or Minerva Howell, I think. I don't know. We call her Julia Talbot. It's B.A. Tortuga's wife. I'm told there's dragons in that. That's hard to say. I'm told there's dragons in them there hills, and sex. And food. Dragons, sex, and food. It's a drinking game. I've never gotten close enough to observe, but I bet it's fine as frog hair. And finally, in the wings, thank you, Lissa, for the wonderful graphic, we have Bound by Love coming up by Little Patty Logan. And as with any Patty Logan book, or series in this case, I'll have to tell my mother not to listen. She will anyways. Also, I've had a stitch in my left side for the last week, and it coincided with me making fun of Patty in an instant message. Bottom line, voodoo is real, you fucks. So that's what we got coming up, and thank you for hanging out for the morning coffee. Coming up in a couple weeks, I just started working on making my guitar work up here in this space. So I think somewhere around Christmas, somewhere around 2 weeks from now, I should be able to start playing you a song at the end of these segments as well. And yeah, that's it. I love you, fucks. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you all in, I guess, about an hour and a half, somewhere in there. We'll be live in this group, and we'll start working on the 12 days of... Where is... It was 12 gays, I thought. 12 days of gay, of Christmas, gay. 12. There's 12 of them. We're going to work on that. I love you, fucks. Have fun. I will see you shortly.